Good afternoon, this is Vicki Gabreau. And why is it when I look at an empty tin can, I see, I don't know, maybe an empty tin can, and when Rodney Brent looks at a tin can, he sees art. Not only that, he sees art in bottle caps and in old pieces of vinyl and leather jackets that, from 1970. So life can take strange twists when he's collecting his raw materials, let me tell you. Rodney Brent, my guest in this hour. And the next time you see someone rooting around in your blue box, just don't bother trying to stop them, because it could be an artist looking for raw material for his or her next opus. And it even could be Toronto garbage artist Rodney Brent. Mr. Brent is in the studio there. Hi.
Hi, Vicki.
Gulp. Did you take a big gulp of coffee just when I spoke to you?
Yeah.
I caught you.
Is there a camera in here?
Yeah, well, I am psychic. Okay? Just as long as you know that. Junk that other people throw out, you make live again. Fair enough?
Fair enough, yeah.
Okay, bye.
Pardon? That was quick.
That was very quick and painless. So describe some of the things that your first projects, let's talk about your first stuff and when you started to take cans out of the dumpster and make things out of it.
Okay, well, the first thing I ever did was, recently, since 1990, was I did a series of marching band hats that I had gotten at the Goodwill for like very, very cheap. I think I got them for like 25 cents a piece, and there was 19 of them.
Like military hats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had this idea of priming them and then colorfully hand painting them. Took me a lot longer than I had originally planned, and they were really quite cool.
Well, what were you going to do with them? Sell them separately? Present them separately?
Yeah.
Right.
As well as I did some photos of them in different arrangements. So let's see, out of the 19, I think 3 of them got stolen, and all the rest got sold.
For huge sums of money, or?
No. It was like, when I was first asking for them, I thought, oh, hey, these are handmade, geez, maybe I can get $100 for them. And
maybe
not. Maybe not. So then they went down in price, and finally they established themselves about $35. So then that meant I was working for like about 50 cents an hour when I had made them. But that's pretty much the ballpark for being an artist.
Yeah, but there's not a big call for decorated former marching hats.
That's true. I thought they would have been like fun club wear, like if you go out to a dance club or something, which a lot of people bought, and a lot of people bought them, like, that played in bands and stuff, bought them as props. And then I think there was about like 7 left at one point, and I turned them into clocks.
And then they went like hotcakes.
Yeah.
You see, something
absolutely
useful. Now, see, don't you think that's weird? Because a lot of the shots I've seen of your stuff, they are now things. What you do is you make a thing from something else. A mirror, for instance.
Yeah. Well, at first, a friend of mine had given me this book of Mexican folk art, saying, hey, Rodney, you should take a look at this because it might interest you. And I was looking at it going, yeah, this is pretty cool. Like, they're using tin cans as a veneer in a very utilitarian way. But it wasn't very artistic in the sense that it was just put up and it covered the side of a house, or it covered a desk or a dresser drawer or something like that. And I thought the idea was very interesting. And my partner at the time, we had a store called Bleeding Art, which was handmade stuff. And unbeknown to me at the time, Bleeding Art really fit with what I was going to embark on with tin can work.
Because you were always cutting yourself?
I think every piece I've ever done has got my blood on it.
That's deep, Rodney.
I've thought about it. I've thought about how deep that is. Like, out there behind the tin cans on the plywood.
Slice and dice.
Yeah. There's little pieces of me. So I had created this large piece. It was, I think, 48 inches by about 60 inches. And it was at the front counter in the store when you walked in. And it looked really, really great. And then a friend of mine, Ellen Ray Hennessy, who is working on a play called Susie Goo, Private Secretary, she said she saw this and went, "Oh, could you, have you got any more of this? You know, because kind of the theme of the play, or at least the office that the secretary works in, is a tin can place."
Perfect.
And yeah, it was perfect. So I went, sure. And I think I had about a week to do it. And as usual, it was left to the last minute. So I had to deliver this stuff on a Tuesday. And so it's Monday night, and I'm going,
Panic.
panic? Well, it was not so much panic with making it. It was like, I don't have enough material. I had neglected to, I thought I had more stuff kicking around the studio than I did. And so then it got into some more improvisation, and I started using some different kinds of metal, and then I had some chicken wire around and some bottle caps, and it all got thrown together, and I made these three pieces that I was really, really happy with. And so then those three pieces, which were commissioned, along with the one that was in the store, were then on display for the play. And then I stuck little price tags up, and three of them sold. And
Bingo, you thought.
Yeah, that was very nice.
But you know, most of this stuff doesn't sing to us, Rodney. You know, I mean, really, it doesn't occur to most of us. And so you are such a useful person.
Well, it doesn't come without trying, that's for sure. I mean, like, you have to develop your eye, and it's over a period of time. Like, for me, it's been since 1990 that I first embarked on a full-time career as an artist. And in that time, I've done the research and development as to what do I like to work with, how have I developed my designs, and how they fit together. So with the idea of, first I was doing stitched art. And
like textile stuff?
Well, yeah, in a way. It started off with leather. And
oh, it always does. Yeah. And then it's just downhill from there.
It started off with black leather. So this gets back to bleeding art. And at the time, Stephanie and myself, we were working with making some clothing with leather. Mm-hmm. It was actually our downfall in getting into making clothing, because you just can't compete with some of the more manufactured
like Gap, for instance.
Yeah. And so I had all this leather leather scraps that were left over, and I had a chance to work on an industrial leather sewing machine. So the very first thing I ever did happened to have been the very biggest thing I've ever made.
What was it?
It was a big mural, leather mural, that started off. Well, I didn't know what size it was going to be.
Do I have a picture of this? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think there's a picture of it.
A leather mural.
It was a leather mural called Carnivore. It takes on a personality of its own, because what I'm dealing with is spontaneous improvisation. I've got a lot of small little pieces, and it has to fit together into a puzzle. Mm-hmm. And so I started sewing away and putting this thing together, and it started getting bigger and bigger, and by the time it was finished, it was 60 inches by about 110 inches. And it took me, I think, about 4 weeks to do it. And then I was bitten by the bug. I went, wow, I really like working with this. And I had scored excess of about like 250, 300 leather jackets from a used clothing store for $50.
The whole thing for $50?
Yeah. The guy, I had gone in just on a whim.
Did anything fit you?
Well, actually, I got a couple of garments myself, and I had all my friends come through and go, hey, find something, pick it out, take it away, because all the rest is just going to get cut up and used for some new artwork. And so I had gone into this store, and I was just inquiring, do you have any stuff you're going to throw away? And the guy went, well, I just happen to have these bags of leather jackets that I did a really bad deal on. Right, they were from the 70s. He had gotten them from Germany. And
really, really tight.
Yeah, and he realized that he had made a mistake on it. So he said, I'll give them to you, the whole thing, for $50. And I didn't take long to think about it, but it was like the only money I had. And so I went, here, take this, $50. And I took them home and put them together. And for the month of February of '93, I think I did, must have been about over 40 completed works. That
With the leather jackets.
Yeah, with the leather jackets, and it was using, like, say, the whole face of a leather jacket. It would be like I'd trim it down so it would fit into position. And
I actually have a picture of one of these items, so I can see.
Yeah, is this the one that is kind of got the skeleton head, kind of?
Kind of a guy with pink eyes, yeah.
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 Yeah, I forget what I called that guy. I think I called him God at one time, but
well.
because there was two other companions that went with him. There was the guy and the girl.
Kind of like the trilogy or something.
Yeah, there was a lot of trilogies I've done.
Do you dive in dumpsters at all?
I have.
Must be attractive. Do you ever get arrested?
No, but I've had some interesting encounters with people that have confronted me, especially with doing the tin can stuff.
Yeah.
Because it would be like when I really had the enthusiasm for working in that medium, I would go out with a big bag on recycling nights, and I'd go through all the blue boxes, and I'm pulling out tin cans, and sometimes it's summer, sometimes it's winter, and people walk by and they look at me.
Well, they would, yeah.
Yeah, they go, oh, this rubby bum here, you know, collecting tin cans, you know. And then there's been a couple of times I've gone up to, like, I mean, the blue box is outside on the sidewalk in front of people's houses, and it'd be nighttime, and they'd maybe be sitting on the veranda or something and go, hey, what are you doing? Get away from there. You know, I'm just collecting some tin cans, you know, and really give me a hard time. And
Don't take my tin cans, man.
Yeah. I actually had one guy come running off his veranda and take his whole blue box back into his yard. And I just scratched my head and laughed and kind of went, well, that was an interesting insight into human nature, you know.
Now, here's a question that is on the list of don't ever ask those questions. Do you have a job? Like, you don't have a job. Did you ever have one? Like,
I used to. I used to have a career in the printing industry for about 18 years there.
Oh, you escaped?
No, actually, the industry's changed, and just my kind of job disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do camera reproduction, photo reproduction, film stripping, pre-press work, and what's happened now is it's all gone into the digital domain. And the last job I had, which was 1991, was working, great job, union shop, good hours, great pay. I'm going, oh, finally, the pinnacle of my career. You know, I'm thinking about, hey, I could actually maybe even buy a house, you know, have a car, and then the economy went
down.
Away.
Away. It just went away.
It just went away, and so did my job. The plant actually closed. It folded, closed its doors, and it was at that time that I had the time to embark on a new career, which is art.
Otherwise, you probably would have not done all this hammering and smashing.
Yeah, it probably never would have come. I was able to wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to make something. But it's not as easy as that. There's some stuff that happens like staring at the floor for 4, 5, 6 hours because you're going, well, I want to do something, but I don't know what.
The plight of the artist. I thought you people just woke up in the morning and started to paint the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, how did I ever get so clever?
Well, when I saw this magazine that said that you were one of the number 17 on the, well, I don't think that it was necessarily somebody was number 1 and somebody else was number 25.
Yeah.
But you're under the coolest musician in Toronto, not coolest artist.
Well, that's because that's what I started out as, was a musician some 25 years ago. And the life of a musician is up and down. It's like, if you're making it, you're making it. And when you're not, oh, well.
What bands were you with?
Here in Toronto, I did a stint with the Scott B Sympathy for a while, and there's a recording called Drinking with the Poet that I did the mandolin solo on.
Yes.
And some alternative bands were like bands like Sacred Heart of Elvis,
Oh, yeah, I heard of Sacred Heart of Elvis.
And let's see, a band called Bible Outrage and Metal Bramble, which were both spontaneous improvisation bands.
Whatever happened to the names like the Platters, you know?
Well, they're still out there.
They are, in about the
There's bands like
400th incarnations. But you were a bluegrass aficionado.
That's where I started. I started playing mandolin in a bluegrass band back in the late 70s there. At the same time, I was getting into alternative music. And so it was like, here's this guy in a black leather jacket. And back then, in the late 70s and early 80s, that look of the black motorcycle jacket had, to me, a different meaning. And also, it was like having my hair styled in various different ways.
You got a hair thing, don't you?
No. Actually, now I look pretty normal.
You do?
Well, I haven't dyed my hair or done the mohawk for quite a while.
Do you have parents?
Oh, yeah. They're in Calgary.
Ah, good. And they went through all of this with you. I guess they probably figured at 42 that you were going to be, just...
Well, I think at this point
they've given up
know
that. That you may show up with striped hair.
I've gone too far to turn back.
This time you've gone too far.
Yeah.
Well, they do say you have this alter ego, this musical entity, Bartok Guitarsplat.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, how did that name evolve, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay, Bartok Guitarsplat happened one day when I was playing in this band called Sacred Heart of Elvis, which originated in Calgary. And we had an opportunity to have a photo shoot for the Calgary magazine. And I had a very tall mohawk. And
you mean with cement in it or something like what?
Yeah, lots of gel and sunglasses with studs on the sides. And I was wearing a sleeveless cowboy shirt, black, of course, and cowboy boots and black pants. And
hardly menacing at all.
Yeah, and I kind of thought, oh, geez, the name Rodney Brent just kind of doesn't seem applicable to this character. And I had been going, okay, what can I do? Well, I come from a Hungarian background, so let's see, who's the weirdest? Bella Bartok. Okay, Bartok. So that became Bartok, and then how the guitar splat fit in there, I don't know. I can't remember. It might have been a suggestion from some of the other band members or something. And so later on, then I have to explain this because it's like, well, Bartok guitar splat. What does this mean? Well, nowadays, Bartok, aside from coming from Bela Bartok and how he did derived a lot of his music from traditional folk music at the time and then just weirded it out, which is pretty much what I do. It also, I was looking at the initials one day and I realized, oh, Bartok. B, capital B with a little period. Art.
Stock!
Okay.
Okay, I love it.
So it's B Art, okay? Which has pretty much come down to one of my philosophies of life is
now, are you taking any drugs at all?
Actually, no.
Actually, no. There isn't anything left to take. Just thought I'd ask. What if I got off the plane? Just say I got off the plane and I wanted to see your stuff. Would I have to come to your house? Such as it is, like loft?
That's one idea. I've got some stuff at a store on Queen Street. It's called Atelier Ceramic. It's Lynn Robinson's store. I don't have the address with me.
But that's okay. They can look it up.
Yeah, they can look it up. It's on Queen Street. It's just a little west of Bathurst.
What have you got in there?
Mirrors. I got a lot of mirrors.
Are they a fortune?
No, actually, the mirrors that are at Lynn's store right now they're really cheap. Dirt cheap.
Just giving them away.
They're dirt cheap. And there's also some other interesting stuff that I have in her store. I have these two hammer pianos that I designed. They're covered with a vinyl veneer, which is all stitched in kind of a semi-scary monster face. And I made a soundboard area, which is 2 pieces of thin plywood separated by about an 1.5 inch plywood frame that goes around, and then that frame is covered in vacuum cleaner hose.
Oh, now does it work as a piano?
Yeah, so like there's in the face of it, there's an area that's been cut out the same as like the hole of a guitar, and right above that I have the sound chimes from a toy piano, which I took out of a toy piano and mounted just above the sound hole. And so you can hit it with a little mallet and get a great sound.
God, I wish I had it with you.
It's really interesting.
Can you lug it around, or do you have to have a crane?
No, they're pretty small actually. I think they're about like, they're an odd shape, but they would fill an area of about, let's say, 20 inches by maybe 30 inches.
Oh, well, this is compelling. I'd like to see one of those things.
They hang on the wall, and sometimes, like if you're, at least what I've noticed about them is, they reverberate sound. So let's say if we're in a room having a conversation, and all of a sudden we get really excited with our conversation or something, and like someone's voice goes really high or something like that, it might cause one of the chimes to start to resonate.
Oh,
so you
really?
start to get these overtones that happen.
Not just from slugging it or anything. You just by people shouting.
Yeah, just from vibrations.
Really? Wow. I think I'll just. I want one. I want to have one of those things. All right. So this recording I have of you here on a cassette that you sent me. Is it using this thing, or what is it?
No. I believe you have a cassette with mandolin music on it.
I guess, yes. I didn't listen to it. I wanted to be completely surprised. I just carted it around in my purse for 2 days.
Well, when you play the tape, you'll find it's got a very big sound, and it's very weird.
Oh, good.
And it's like a hypno-shock psycho mantra, new age meditation noise, rock and roll death dirge, ambient audio wallpaper.
Yes. Well, shake me up.
And it's all performed live from the floor to the control room, where it was slightly greatly reprocessed by John Magyar. And but it was all done at the moment that you listened to it.
World of Hungarians. Yes, John Magyar, one presumes he's Hungarian.
Yeah, sometimes he uses the alias Attila Flatus. We've been working on this thing of Guitarsplat Flatus.
You guys are so grown up.
I know. Well, you gotta have some fun, huh?
Yeah, you gotta have some fun. Well, you're some fun. Thanks a lot. It was really fun to talk to you.
All right, Vicki. Thanks so much.
Okay, so we will, in conclusion, I will first of all say that I've been speaking to Rodney Brent, also known as Bartok Guitarsplat, from whom you will now hear, and I thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
A little shot of unnamed instrumental piece by Rodney Brent, also known as Bartok Guitarsplat.